You know who is having some problems right now? Joseph Robinette Biden. That's what we're going to talk about right now for the first part of the show here.
Yes.
So at the end of near the end of yesterday's show, we were putting together topics, Natalie. We went through some stuff and everything, and then John texted me later that night, and he was reading the same stuff I did. It's like, man, I've just been watching the news. We got to add this topic about Joe Biden. And we absolutely have to, because when John and I spoke about this last, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, I think they had a meeting with top Democrats talking about, hey, what are we going to do about this Joe Biden thing? But as of last night, there even more came out, or last night and today, just keeps popping up more and more. The big guy himself, Barack Hussein Obama, he has told his allies that Joe Biden needs to seriously consider his viability for re-election. And when I saw this, John, my first thought was, well, how come he's not asking Trump to reconsider his viability? We joked about that a lot, Natalie, because we were saying that, hey, you know, Biden's he's looking kind of rickety. Maybe he should step down. And a lot of people would say, why aren't you asking Trump to step down? As if, as if we have anything to do with that at all. But this is the article from the Washington Post, so you know it's true. Former President Barack Obama told his allies in recent days that President Biden's path to victory has greatly diminished, and he thinks the president needs to seriously consider the viability of his candidacy, according to multiple people briefed on his thinking. I'll toss it to Natalie first. What do you think here? Is this good news for Biden or not? I'm not sure. I'm new to this whole politics thing.
I think it is long past due that President Biden steps aside. I have been saying this now for weeks on social media and on my platforms. We need a viable candidate that can beat Donald Trump, which I can't even believe we're saying that, because honestly, like, the houseplant behind me should be enough to beat Donald Trump, considering all of the chaos and mayhem and really suffering that he has caused since he was last in office. But people have short memories and they want to believe what they want to believe. Facts be damned. So I think the reality is, between the way Biden appeared at the debate, which was what made me go, okay, I can no longer support this candidate. He is no longer viable in my eyes, to his ongoing support for Israel in the midst of everything that has happened in Gaza. I don't think it makes any sense for us to continue to throw our weight behind President Biden. I think if he wants to be a true patriot, like he always says that he is, it is time to pass the torch, step aside, and truly just like save us from ourselves at this point.
Wow. Couldn't agree more, Natalie. Yesterday we had a commenter ask, if I was still 60-40, because that's what I said last week, that 60% he would step down, 40% he wouldn't. I've jumped that up to 85% in the past 24 hours. We have had now, basically in the past 24 hours, it has come out that he said that he would step down if he had a medical condition. Pelosi leaked that she asked him to step down, essentially. Schumer leaked that he asked him to step down. Obama is now leaking that he should consider stepping down, which is about as much of a warning shot, as you can possibly imagine. And he announced that he has COVID. Like it's all seemingly going towards the direction that he's going to step down. And really, I would say higher than 85%, but it's just, there's so much uncertainty about a situation like this that 15% is just uncertain. Like there's like 1% in no, he won't step down. It seems like that's the direction things are going. Trump is already acting like he's going against Kamala Harris. I don't know if you guys saw at the RNC, he walked out to It's a Man's World, which was obviously a shot at Kamala Harris, while also, classically not understanding what the song is about. And I think that it's about as unspoken, as public of a secret as you can possibly get right now that he'll be stepping down. And thank God, because we were about to drive off a cliff. And I honestly, I can't, 99.9% of the time, if you're like, hey, do you support Trump? I'd be like, no, you really shouldn't do that. But honestly, the clips that have been coming out of Biden, like I'm not a doctor, I don't know anything, but my grandma had Parkinson's, and it was scarily similar to what we've been seeing out of him in the past month. Just the way he's been moving, the way that he's been talking. I don't know that he has it or not, but I still think someone with Parkinson's would make a better president than Trump because I think Trump is evil, but I don't blame the average person for having pause about that. You know, like you can't really be too upset that it's like, oh, we're considering Trump because Biden clearly isn't capable. And as if the plan is for Harris to take over anyway, which it absolutely must be, you might as well let her campaign because she'll do a better job at it. You know, that's where I've been like you for a while. But I think it's pretty clear and obvious at this point what's going to happen.
TJ, was there any moment where you just thought, this is it, I'm now moving over to the other side of this debate? Like, was there a moment, like, was it George Clooney that did it for you? Like, what was it that made you go?
What made me? Oh, well, so the debate, honestly, is I think when most people turned, and that was, so John and I and Nick Powers, we did a live stream of that debate, so we got to watch the nightmare unfold minute one to minute done, and it was a catastrophe. At that point, is like, it was hard. I'm still in the same position where, I think Biden should go because I don't think he has what it takes to finish the campaign. I just don't. He's not going to get better over the next 3 or 4 months, and so he's only going to hurt himself. But I do understand when people said that, well, it's kind of risky because we don't know. That's true, but I would think that anyone now coming in, like they get to in some way free themselves of a lot of the baggage that Biden has, but also just present a normal-ish person against Donald Trump, which what Biden cannot do right now. So I think the debate is when I first started getting these thoughts. Then over time, it's like as more kept going on, he said, when I nominated Vice President Trump, and everything, talk about Harris and all that. But what's really cemented it for me, so just like with John, is that Democrats kept hinting that they didn't want Biden. Like the big guys like Pelosi and Schumer were hinting they didn't want him. And then George Clooney, of course, George Clooney, oh yeah, I mean, come on, how can we not follow Bruce Wayne? And but Obama hinting at it again. And what people got to understand is that they're hinting at this, but they're hitting it towards newspaper publications and news sources, and they're not doing that accidentally. But I do want to add something here. I saw a tweet by Ilhan Omar today about this very thing, and I share her sentiment because I don't respect cowardice. This is what she said right here was, I can't tell you all how shameful it feels to hear all these leaks about what Democratic leaders are saying and not to have a single one of them out here confirming or denying it. It's a lack of leadership, and it's making all Democrats look bad. Whatever this mess leads to will not undo the damage that's already been inflicted. May God help us all. Agree 100%. 100%. If you're a Barack Obama or Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, anyone who has actual sway over the party, hiding behind sources say is bullshit. This is an important issue. You either think Biden needs to go or you don't. Stand behind your decision. So I agree with Ilhan Omar on that.
I'm actually going to take the other side of that, TJ.
Oh, yeah?
I think, again, if we are looking at this at face value and assuming that every individual is just kind of acting on what they think they should do, which we know doesn't happen in politics, then I agree with you. On an individual level, stand your ground. Be an adult who is responsible for their own actions. But on a strategic level, from the point of view of the party and trying to win this election, I'm not sure that would be the best approach. Because if you just go out and everyone, comes together, Obama, Pelosi, Schumer does that, you limit your options. Because essentially, at that point, what's even the argument for Biden being president still? At least with what's going on right now, it's a slow buildup of pressure so that you can hit the eject button on the campaign without needing to hit the eject button on the presidency. And I think that's very important because I think that if you have Kamala suddenly have to be president and have to campaign for 4 months very vigorously, that's a very, very, very bad combination. And you want to avoid that at all costs. You want to avoid casting doubt that the party was intentionally covering things up and knew that he needed to step down. I think this gives plausible deniability and gives you the most optionality moving forward. And so, like, you know, morally, I guess I stand with you. But strategically, I'm not so sure that that would be the right answer. What do you think, Natalie?
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting statement. I had not seen this yet. And so my first visceral reaction was, let's remember, politicians are not leaders. They're followers. And they're going to follow what the people are wanting, right? We've shown poll after poll is saying people do not want Biden. So now they're almost breadcrumbing this trail, testing the waters, breadcrumb, test the waters. Do people really want this? Do people really want this? Okay, because we want to win, right? I mean, at the end of the day, this is about retaining who's in power. And they want, the Democratic establishment wants to stay the Democratic establishment. And Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are not that far apart in policy position. No. They may be very far apart in appearance and obviously the rhetoric and how they might appear to the public. But at the end of the day, swapping Kamala's positions, swapping Biden's positions for Kamala's is not this big stretch. So the Dems just want to stay where they're at. And I think leading the people and saying, okay, how does this feel? How does this feel? How does this feel? It's getting them prepared. It also provides Biden the opportunity to step aside on his own 2 feet and look like a hero. And I think if we're talking about this BS, and excuse me, around, you know, like a fragile masculinity, because that's what I'm seeing all over the place right now between the Trump and the Biden campaign, right? One near, you know, where's the little cover on his ear because he's a hero, and this guy, you know, he's appearing weak on stage because he has a summer cold. I mean, it's also fraught with misogyny. It's fascinating, and toxic masculinity. So I think what they're trying to do is set up a framework where Biden can still stand on his own 2 feet and say, I'm saving the country by stepping aside and giving you guys what you want. And to me, that's really what's at the heart of all of this.
Yeah. It is important to keep, you guys are right. It's important to keep in mind the pageantry and stagecraft that politics is. It's not just about, you know, you stating your opinion or even what you think is right. Unfortunately,
right?
It's not. It's like, it really isn't. It's about like, this is like the sad thing is that what Republicans have figured out on, and it works easier when you're a fascist, that they understand better than people on the left that what really matters is the power, or who has the power. That's what really matters. Like optimally, it would be about morality. That's what you want it to be. But whenever, you know, people who, you know, want to kill you or want to, you know, limit your rights or just have, you know, hatred towards anyone different than them, if they're in power, then you're not going to have the ability to exercise your morality anyway. And so Jon and I spoke about this a while ago, Natalie, talking about, you know, people who may go rogue. And I don't think anyone should go rogue, obviously. I think that if you present a united front, it would be better. But yeah, you're right. You know, just stepping up, say, this is what I think. Nonsense. You can't do that with something that's important.
All right, guys, you made it to the end of the episode, which means you are one of our favorite viewers. Thank you so much. And with any luck, we're recording this on Thursday. Maybe Biden has already stepped down right now. And if he has, you better be commenting, liking, subscribing, and everything about how happy you are to see it. If you guys enjoyed listening to our wonderful guest this week, I'll let her tell you where you can find her other places.
I have them tongue-tied, you know. Hey, everybody, I'm Natalie Bencivenga. You can find me at Natalie Bencivenga on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. I have a website, nataliebencivenga.com. You can also check me out on the radio, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA here in Pittsburgh. And if you're outside of Pittsburgh, go to kdkaradio.com and you can stream it live or play it back. I talk about all these things, and I got to get both of these guys on my show. So stay tuned for that.
Fantastic. We appreciate the offer there, Natalie. We'll join as soon as we can. Thank you guys for watching the show, and we would like to welcome you all to the Neo K Hive. We are glad to have you here, and we are going to go strong. Kamala's our mamala. Catch you next time.